Bam! This is the truth behind your two Chris's. Chris Rock, Chris Tucker. Now, a lot of you might be shocked. A lot of you might be stunned. But some of you going to be interested to know what went on. These two always spoke when they were around each other, but they didn't like each other. One was envious of the other, wanted to replace the other, did everything in their power to replace and get rid of the other. Was Chris Rock supposed to be in Rush Hour? No, he never was. It was never meant for him. It was meant for Chris Tucker. Now, y'all finna learn the truth. Are you ready? First off, when they were both struggling comedians, coming up, they came from two different worlds. But the comedy scene brought them closer together. As Rock had been in movies, Tucker had not. Chris Rock had been on the trail since the 80s. But he ain't blown up. He was in I'm Gonna Come Get You Sucker. He was in Beverly Hills Cop 2. He was Eddie Murphy's friend since 1987. So the fact he was Eddie Murphy's friend since 1987 he been doing shows, he been doing stand-up. When Chris Tucker came along, he came around after that fact and blew up quick. He was on Def Comedy Jam, did his set and blew it up. Man, I was out there sticking them doing robberies, man. I was like, stick them up. Man, I was out there sticking up people, man. I had robbed my own mama. I'm like, mama, that's you? Chris Rock was funny, a lot of energy, and people responded to it. So when Chris Rock was doing his thing, oh, people say, I can't do this live. Oh, I know all the things. Even talked about meeting Chris Rock 8 years ago. That's a funny video you should watch too. Chris Rock versus Carcino. And I know Chris Rock's agent. So us having a conversation would help out tremendously. Now, yeah, exactly. So Chris Rock was on the tour. Like he was doing the Def Jam comedy tour. So this is 94, 95, CB4 come out. And it's weird. CB4 is a copy of another movie done by a guy in LA named Rusty Kleinfeld, who came up with Robert Townsend and all of those guys. And the movie was the same exact movie, just better, with a lower budget, called Fear of a Black Hat. And one actor was in both movies. They're the same movie, and they came out together. Oh, 100%. For some reason, they didn't push my Dennis Rodman video. Something's going on there with that PC. Like something's blocking it. It's got a virus on it. Every time I upload something on there, something's wrong. Mm-hmm. Now, if you remember Fear of a Black Hat, because everybody remembers CB4, but I actually met somebody who didn't know what the hell that was. That was crazy. Mm-hmm. So Fear of the Black Hat had 3 rappers. Like they weren't imposters. And if you just wanted to show people what it is. Hold on. That's Fear of a Black Hat. Came out in 94. But it was recorded in the same time, but they put CBO4 out first to come out in 93. And they was this group, NWH, Negroes with Hats. And it was the funnier movie, better movie of the two. This one just had a big budget. And so this is parallel, and this is all going to make sense. So the producers, while he was trying to get money for his movie, gave his idea of a spoof of NWA, calling it NWH, Negroes with Hats. And they basically said, that's a good concept. And next thing you know, there's a big budget version with Chris Rock called CB4. Now, as this is going down, as all of this is transpiring and taking place, we run into a situation because while all this is happening, the world is still spinning. And Chris Rock and them, they going to work. He's got his first motion picture out, it bombs. Next thing you know, he's back to the stand-up circuit, doing HBO specials because Eddie Murphy got the HBO people to come in and give Chris a special to showcase his talents. Meanwhile, Chris Tucker is doing the Def Comedy Jam circuit, making appearances here and there on stuff, but he doing that circuit. Then he gets this movie called Friday that comes out in 1995, where he's smoking. Everybody seen Chris Tucker on Def Comedy Jam, so they recognized him. And then he became recognized by people who didn't see him from Def Comedy Jam. Smokey Funny. He made the movie Friday work. So that was that. Now, Chris Tucker didn't think this movie was going to be the biggest thing in black cinema. This little small budget thing for the hood was just some good money. So he could use. Chris Tucker went back to the road. He's on the tour for Def Comedy Jam, so he's not worried and strapped for cash. because he's getting paid doing that. But that opened the doors. Oh, that opened a lot of doors, people. He said, yes, he did. Right. So, I wanted y'all to see Fear of a Black Hat. And I wanted y'all to see CB4. Because that's going to, believe me, that plays a big part in what's about to happen with these two. Now, Chris Rock has a team around him. He's got Wanda Sykes. He's got a lot of people working for him that he worked with. So Chris Rock he's got this whole layout, right? He does Bring the Pain. This is when Chris Rock decided he finna grow out his beard and look like a leading man and not a little boy. So he got the Jerry curl hair. He got with a stylist, hanging around Eddie Murphy and them. That boosts your career. That boosts your career. It boosts everything up. So Ed was like, "You gonna meet my stylist?" So they took him on to meet the stylist. Yep, they boosted him up, put him with the stylist. Ed tried to get him on point with some fashion. Introduced him to some white girls, you know, trying to be a real friend. Now, he was like, "Man, you funny. And I'm going to need you to be, instead of Boney T every day, you going to learn to be Chris. Chris is going to be a standout guy." Ed want to be there for that lunch because he want to put him in movies. Now, this ain't happening because Ed's career started to go down at this point. See, Ed was fighting the system as well. Yeah, well, Rockman was. So Tucker was blowing up. As you can see, Tucker was really blowing up after Friday. Friday came along, Tucker was the man. You couldn't go nowhere with anybody talking about Chris Tucker. That's what Friday did for him. The little small movie, that character right there, Smokey, blew up the screen. Blew it up! He blew up the whole damn screen. So when you saw him, it was over. So after Friday, and everybody was like, "Man, Chris Tucker, where is he at? What's going on with Tucker and what is he going to do? He needs something to do next. What's the next thing for Chris Tucker?" Now remember, he did that movie. At the same time, he recorded another movie, which was one of my favorite movies ever made. It just ain't came out. He played Beaumont Livingston in Jackie Brown, Quentin Tarantino's movie. Ooh-wee! After Pulp Fiction rocked the world, he came and recorded that scene and knocked it out the park. Beaumont Livingston, Jackie Brown. That's why it's on my wall. One of my favorite movies of all time. Jackie Brown. It's one of the best dialogues of character you ever seen. And right at the bottom, Beaumont Livingston. And it is a movie about, let's see, 8 characters? Yeah, that's what, 8? It's really about 8, 9 characters in the movie. Michael Keaton got a small part. His partner, yeah, about 8 characters in this movie. You'll think it's a lot more, but it really isn't. 8 people in the movie, and they make it work. So him playing Beaumont for that one scene was incredible. Then at the same time, he has saved up enough money now from the road and everything else to produce his own movie. He the writer, talker, producer, everything of Money Talks. That's the movie in the hood we watched. Everybody in the hood watched Money Talks. Franklin, Chris Tucker wrote this. He directed it, produced it, damn near. Brett Ratner directed it because Brett was doing, what's his name? Rush Hour. So Brett Ratner was doing Rush Hour, and this led to the whole Rush Hour thing, Money Talk. So he did Rush Hour with Jackie Chan. All 3 of those Brett Ratner brought in, directed. It was on New Line, Street Anthem. So he was like, it was rewritten by this was all Chris Tucker lines was written by Chris. They can't write for Chris Tucker. So the regular script writer, Joel Cohen from the Coen brothers, he wrote it. And was it Alex Skoloff? They wrote it together. Yeah, he did The Fifth Element. He did all of these things, but he was able to get his own money together for it. Yeah, him and Charlie Sheen. So once he started in this movie, and it was all Chris Tucker, this movie was hilarious. I like Money Talks is great. I can watch Money Talks right now. That's how funny Money Talks was. Money Talks is probably like one of my favorite movies with Chris Tucker since then. Now, remember what I told you about CB4 and what's going on. Now, at this time, Chris Tucker is hot in Hollywood making movies, right? He's finna be blockbuster. Rush Hour will come out. Meanwhile, Chris Rock is doing stand-up and can't get a shot at the movies. He's mad Chris Tucker is getting these shots in the movies. He's like, I've been out longer than Chris. How the hell Chris Tucker over me? I know Eddie Murphy. So he wanted a shot at Hollywood. And to get that shot, they were putting him in all of these films that were bombing. And the studio didn't think he was bankable. So they put him in Lethal Weapon 4 because he complained about the 2 biggest HBO specials there was Bring the Pain and Bigger and Blacker. And he didn't did those, and Hollywood wasn't checking for him. He was mad. Hollywood ain't even checking for me. I'm the hottest comic in America. So they stuck him. I mean, they wrote him in the script. He was Lieutenant Butters. He ruined that. He had no place in the Lethal Weapon franchise. His acting skills was horrendous. He did not fit. He just made it a mess. So they wrote Chris Rock in, gave him a couple of lines to remember and let him do that. They put him in this movie called Bad Company or whatever. After he did Down to Earth, he started producing his own movies and wanted to make Chris Rock type movie. I want to produce my money like Chris. So he was going to do his version of Money Talks. He wanted to do all of it. But this is where it gets spooky. This is where it gets a little strange. Because like I told you, remember, Fear of a Black Planet, and remember, CB4. Fear of a Black Planet and CD4. CB4, where you at? Don't forget the super chat work. The Cash App is Carcino, Carceno. Now, let's get to this. Now, what happened with these two? Well, Chris Rock was so ambitious with fame, Tucker was not. Tucker was enjoying life and enjoying the moments. Rock was resentful, bitter, and wanted it. He was using his connections. He used everything he had in his possession to make it happen. So he decided, I know what to do here. I know how to manipulate this situation. I got to just get my opportunity. That's because people don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like they really just don't get it. And when you start to see these everything like laid out before you, then you'll start to get it. I mean, Chris Rock was in Crush Groove in 1985, just walking in around. Walking around. He had been in so many things, playing small parts. It didn't even make sense. So after the CB4 thing, right? And he did Beverly Hills Ninja, Sergeant Biko. He was in these movies, but these movies didn't really pop with him in it. Right. Eddie Murphy put him in to voice Rodney in Dr. Dolittle. After that, when I told you he was Lieutenant Butters, then he did Dogma with Kevin Smith. Put him in as Rufus, who fell from heaven, and let him basically star in that movie. And they were like, dude, what are you doing in a film like that? He was cool with Kevin Smith because he gave him a shot. Then he got to work with Morgan Freeman and Nurse Betty. So he said, you know what? I got to write my own movies. This is it. So he decided to do it. Now, those two movies, Down to Earth, where he come up with this skit, and What If a White Man was the stand-up comic, a black man was in a white man's body and was the stand-up comic in the white man's body. This was the brainchild of Chris Rock. So, like I told you, he had been around a long time. Everybody was like, well, damn, he kind of been around a minute. It's like, yeah, he has. That dude has been around forever. So when you start seeing Down to Earth and you compare it to what Money Talks did. Money Talks was huge. Nobody talked about Down to Earth. It had no push. And Wanda Sykes worked on the movie right along, writing with him, and it just didn't land. It was like one joke that turned into an hour and 30-minute joke. And that was not going to work. I almost forgot too. Tucker was in Dead Presidents. Chris Tucker in Dead Presidents was outstanding. That showed his range. He was believable. And I forgot he was in House Party 3, I think. Him and Chris Rock. If I'm not mistaken. Right. It was no comparison. So after that bombed, after he wrote and produced that, and you turn around and see Chris Tucker blowing up and take it off with Rush Hour. He did Jackie Brown. He got The Fifth Element. He doing all this big budget stuff now. Rush Hour come out after Money Talks, and Brett Ratner worked with him and said, hey, dude, you are golden. I'm going to put you with Jackie Chan. And that's his man's. So he put him with Jackie Chan and was like, this is you. You going everywhere. So Rush Hour comes out in 98, destroys everything. So now Chris Tucker's a leading man in Hollywood. He getting $20 million a film. Rush Hour 2 comes out. First Rush Hour did about $250 million. No, Martin Lawrence was considered to play the role. But Brett Ratner wanted Chris Tucker. That was his guy. Money Talks did it. Money Talks came out and destroyed everything. So he definitely working for him again. That's exactly who's gonna play the part. But Martin was the guy when they was first writing the script. Martin Lawrence was gonna play in Rush Hour. Rush Hour 2 comes out. That movie does $347 million. Right, it's the highest grossing of the franchise. The third one, the one that was in like Paris and LA, that did like another 270 some million worldwide. So he's doing movies that's making him blockbuster for Hollywood. Chris Rock movies is not making any money. So he decided to make his own version. And he said, I'm going to make my own version of Money Talks. And his Money Talks was Pootie Tang. Pootie Tang was Chris Rock's version. No, Pootie Tang was his version. It was his straight copy of and Pootie Tang was the character that he had that was a hit on the Chris Rock show on HBO to keep him afloat because everything he was putting out was flopping. That Down to Earth lost so much money. Then he was a voice cameo in another picture, so they gave him Pootie Tang. And Pootie Tang didn't make no money either. But that was the sketch that was on the Chris Rock show. That was on HBO. And Pootie Tang was funny because the character Pootie Tang was funny. but it was just silly. You either loved it or you hated it, but overall, it wasn't money talks. He plays Omasis Jones, the animated character. He was the voice in that. He did Jay and Shockley and Bob, did the cameo there. Then he did Bad Company, his first big picture. It didn't do what Rush Hour did, but he was there. I made it. I made it. It's my first big one. All right. Now, after Rush Hour 2, Chris Rock is now working on something monumental. Chris Rock got something coming to this thing, right? Where he's going to try to create a new movie. But Tucker's got a movie coming out. Chris Tucker made one mistake. Talking to Chris Rock, because he's not Hollywood trained. He don't know what he's doing in that field. Like, he thinking everybody's honorary because we all got the same goal we trying to reach, right? That ain't how it work in Hollywood. And he found that out very fast. Because while he's sitting here thinking, I got a friend, that ain't your friend. Michael Jackson is friends with Chris Tucker. And he's seeing Chris Tucker and Michael Jackson hanging out. Chris Rock just starts bashing Michael Jackson. I mean, to the floor. Which wrecked his relationship with Eddie. Because Eddie and Michael were cool. And he tried to talk to Chris Rock the first time about, doing what he was doing. Like coming after him like he was. Then it was like they did another kid on Michael Jackson, and that's what he's like, I'm fed up with Michael Jackson. But that's too far down the road. Remember? Fear of a Black Hat, CB4. Let's take us there. Chris Tucker announced, I'm finna come out with a whole new film. So they was like, okay, cool. So he's coming out with a whole new movie. Because people was waiting on him to do another. Right, they was waiting on him to do another movie after Rush Hour 2. So after Rush Hour 2, he was working on this movie called Mr. President. Rush Hour came out in 2001. In 2002, and after the end of that one, he's the biggest star in the world. He's writing and producing a movie called and Mr. President was the name of it. Now, here's what the twist is. Back then, nobody knew because it stayed out of people's earwaves. So he was on a humanitarian mission to purpose was eliminating HIV and AIDS in Africa and all of this. And Chris Rock's job was just to tell jokes. They were just paying him millions of dollars just for the being there, just for showing up. And this was basically a fundraiser for his movie that he was producing himself called Mr. President, where he was going to be the first Black president. Now, this all make a lot of sense. Now, you know where this is going, right? So Chris Tucker is telling everybody, him and Bill Clinton stood up by the plane. They waved hands as he was basically using Bill Clinton to monitor like what he was going to do in the movie. So that's why him and Bill Clinton got tight. And then Clinton shook his hand, pulled him close and said, they haven't told you. You already got a Black president. You already had a Black president. Talking about him. And he laughed. because somebody said Bill Clinton was the first black president. So Bill Clinton and him were very close. He loved the fact that he was Chelsea, loved the part in the movie where you said her name. Who do you think you kidnapped? Chelsea Clinton. Her and her friends, they laughed. They loved it. Her name was moved. So because he did that, he said that line, he didn't even write that. They wrote that for the movie. They put it in there. So right after this, Chris Rock says his movie's coming out that he's writing. It's about him being the first black president. Right after Chris Tucker told Rock, everybody else, when he was at the some event they was at, and told him this is what he was doing. Oh, I got a theme for the next movie I want to do, the first black president. But he wanted to beat Chris Tucker to the production. Now remember, CB4, fear of a black hat. Remember, money talks and Pootie Tang. This dude is a copying bastard. Now, because he came out with his movie, rushed it out to the world, got them to produce it, give him some money, HBO and all them people to put out Head of State. Because he couldn't use the title Mr. President. That'd have been really rip-off. Chris Rock is the first black president. Now, how is Chris Tucker going to make this movie? Now, the person who they was going on this mission with, though, going back and forth, who was financing this thing, was Jeffrey Epstein. So the Chris Tucker movie, it will be looked at a little different now. Because Jeffrey Epstein was putting him, Kevin Spacey, all these guys, flying them out to the island, flying them over here. They had a meeting in New York. So all of them guys was doing that. Yeah, at the time. Martin would have messed up Rush Hour. Well, he kind of did his own already with Blue Streak. So it was like, well, he kind of did Blue Streak. So, you know, it is what it is. But he couldn't be Tucker. No, Tucker works, especially at that time. The problem with Chris Tucker is he got too much money, too fast, and got too lazy. He was relaxed. That is correct. You said the right thing. Chris Rock is the better stand-up comedian. Tucker is better in film. That has always been the case. And I do mean always. Now, those two have run into each other since then. And they all show each other love and that, but he knows they keep their distance because he know he ripped him off. So even when Tucker, who basically fell to grace, fell down to earth, he held out for more money and did all these other things, Chris Rock played the right tunes. He got with Adam Sandler. He got with Jerry Seinfeld. He aligned himself with the Jewish people, like Eddie Murphy told him, Eddie, hey, I ain't got no power no more. Better grab you one of these Jewish boys and run with them. Remember the ones in our comedy class? Used to be on stage with us? Yeah, they blowing up now. Grab on one of them. Hold on tight to one of them Jewish boys and hope they take you with them. You don't need one of them down the road. So that became the growing thing. That is it. So you get a live version of a Truth Behind video. Now, when the Oscar slap went down, right? You ain't never heard Chris Tucker is the Christian man, you know, in the church, following God. And this is the first time he has mentioned Chris Rock's name since that happened. Once this happened, he said, oh, he was right there by Will Smith's side. Chris Tucker was so glad Chris Rock got slapped. Oh, boy, oh boy, oh boy. Man, when they said Chris got slapped, man, everybody started calling my mama. Saying, man, I heard Chris got the shit slapped out of him. They started calling my mama. They thought I got hit. Chris Rock got slapped and everybody thought it was me. Calling my mama all time at night. Oh my God, is he okay? I heard Chris got slapped. My mama was like, no, not my son. Not my Chris. He right here, right now, rewinding it back so I can see the slap. Oh, man. You know, he about to show me the slap again. Oh. Yeah, he was trying to say that Chris Rock wasn't using his black antenna. You know, he been hanging around them white boys too much. See, Chris Tucker was letting it all out the bag. He was letting it out the bag. He was like, man, your black antennas didn't go up. Because he like, the Oscars would have stopped right then and there if he slapped me. If Will Smith would have slapped me, the Oscars stopped right there. Ain't gonna be no more show. There's no more show after that. No, man, it wouldn't have been a show after that. Mm-mm. Head of state was only good because of head of state was only working because of Mac. Bernie Mac killed that. Yeah, they took a picture together, but he ain't deal with Rock. Rock was slimy. Still slimy. He's a hater. You know how somebody's just a hater and you know it? And you just trying not to really mess with him, but you know they a hater. But when you stole this from him, when he was Mr. President and knowing he was doing the movie, and you come along and steal it, Then you disrespect Michael Jackson because he cool with Chris Tucker and he ain't cool with you. And you was mad when you said Chris Tucker is funnier than you. Ooh, gosh, you hated that. Right. Then you wanted to give Chris Rock want to give all the credit to Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan had made hundreds of movies without Chris Tucker. None of them did nothing. You need Chris Tucker. Tucker sold the movie. Jackie Chan can do all the action he want. But without, you don't do this film with Chris Tucker, buddy. Believe me, it don't work. They have tried to emulate this movie over and over again with other lesser talent, and it don't work. Yeah. Man, come on. What did you think? What did you think? I told you, man, from the get-go. This is how they roll. Yes, it's highly weird, man. Highly weird. But everybody ain't in your corner. They trying to get on. That's all they know. It ain't personal, but I gotta eat. And I gotta do something that's snaky to probably get myself seen. That's all that was about. And they was talking about doing Rush Hour 4 and all that stuff, but snaky. Yeah, Tucker was the first one. Will Smith was Chris is right here. Yeah, you talking about Chris. Chris is right here. Mm-hmm. See the smile on Tucker face? He ain't got that smile when he was around Rock. Because they already know. But he ain't gonna publicly try to destroy the man until he got slapped. And then everybody, it went viral for him getting slapped. And boy, oh boy, he loved every minute of it. Yeah, he ain't had no black antennas. That's what he told him. The show would have ended right there. That's what Chris Tucker said. Black people, we got 6 cents. It stop us from getting caught off guard later. If I'd have been there, that show would have ended right then and there. They've been talking about it in Tokyo, Puerto Rico, Africa. They reporting on this everywhere. Oh, man. So to see the guy that tries to have you replaced, take your job, getting the it slapped out of him, that's priceless. That's priceless. Having me doing a live truth behind video, that's priceless. 50 minutes in, still going, it's priceless. So, anyway, y'all be good. I'm gonna get up out of here. First time I ever did it on this phone. New phone, 4K, broke it down, walking around the house. Gave you everything from the backstory to where it is now. Chris Rock snaked him, stole the idea. Take it how you want to take it.